What is going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. I was just watching this video on YouTube about these 90-year-old uh, elderly people talking to these younger children. And one of the elderly gentlemen said something, and I've actually heard this before. Charleston White actually mentioned it. A lot of people pay attention to people's birth date and they remember their death date. The one thing that people truly should be remembering is what happened with the dash. Now, before I continue, if you're not subscribed to the channel, click that subscription button. If you like what you see here on the channel, go ahead and give a couple of those videos a like as well. And when prompted, hit the all selection so that you get all notifications that come from this channel. Excuse me for having to use AI during this video, but I felt as though if I can use some type of visual cues as I talk about this would help you better understand what I'm getting at. The day you were born, yes, was a very, very special day for your parents and your family members. If you have a family that's loving and that's caring and that welcomed you into the family with open arms, and the whole time that you grew from a kid to a teenager, they supported you, they were there for you, and they did things for you. In between those times, everything you did, the relationships you were in, the slips and falls that you had, the fights you may have had in school, the friends you may have made in school, the friends you've lost, the friends you gained, the career path that you took, the career you should have took that you didn't take, the trips that you went on, the places that you experienced, the times that you shared with others, the pictures that you took, the pictures that you consistently looked over. All of these things are a part of the dash that's in between your birth date and your death date. But for some reason, the birth date becomes more memorable. And there's nothing wrong with that, because people always want to remember the day that the people who were there, that you first came onto this planet, and the joy that it brought to them when you first came on this planet. And then you have that death date, that date that when someone passed, you're going to always remember that, because that date also carries a lot of pain and emotion with it as well. So it becomes more memorable. But what always disappears in these two instances is the dash. What the person did from the time that they were born up until the time that they died. Because that becomes more important. That becomes the most important part of that person's life, is how they lived. And if you can remember how they lived, hopefully they lived a great life. Hopefully they lived a life of, great excitement and things that you want to remember and things that you would love to remember. Because if not, the dash would not become that much important either. And if you somehow have resentment towards this person, or this person was a troubled person that may have done something to you, their death date may become a celebration for you. Or if you are an insane person, or a person who didn't want certain things to come into life, the birth date might become an ailment for you, or something that you despise. Where am I going with this? Because this video may have seemed to start off on a very positive note, and it's still on a positive note. If you don't look too far into the last two things that I just mentioned, You see that those last two things were just a part of life, just a part of living, and part of a person's life and a person's experiences in life. They are all a part of a person's dash. They are a part of what a person did that's always memorable and more memorable than their birth date and their death date. Because those things are what truly are going to be memorable to you and what you're going to always remember. We're always going to remember that Motown 25 with Michael Jackson doing the moonwalk on the stage. We're always going to remember the fans that we seen going crazy over his Super Bowl, not performance, but him just standing there. We'll always remember that. We'll always remember Red Fox's comedy during Sanford and Son. We'll always remember Richard Pryor's JoJo Dancer. We'll always remember Elizabeth Taylor's, interview with Barbara Walters. We'll remember a lot of different things that these people brought in life, all that were a part of their dash. Not a part of their birth date and their death date. Those were just days. Those days have nothing on that dash. The dash was the most important thing in all of that. The dash is the most important thing there. That's present. So you got to remember people for their dash. And let that dash be the reason why you have happiness and you have closure. Now, some people you lose, that closure is not going to come easy. That closure is going to be hard to find. That closure is going to be tough for you to have. But there can be closure. And the best way to find closure is to remember their dash, not their death date. And if you were there for the birth date, not the birth date either. And that may sound crazy to say, but they did more during their dash than they did during their birth. During their birth, they probably pooped or threw up or cried from getting smacked or something like that. During their death, they just laid there as people mourned over them. They did a lot more in their dash than they did in their death date and their birth date. And this is what they should be remembered for. I'm not trying to sound cruel or have cruelty come into me when I'm mentioning anything about someone's death date, because we have to be empathetic about people's death. But as I show sympathy to people's dash and empathy to their dash, I think we should pay more attention to their dash. As I dash out of this video, subscribe to the channel if you find this video touching or in somewhat way enlightening. And if you enjoy other videos on the channel, don't hesitate to like those videos or comment on those videos as well. Let me know your comments in the comment section. What do you think? And with that said, I'm dashing out of here. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.